Hello, so my name is Sakira Bushmiguel, and today I will be talking about neuroscience. So to start off, what is neuroscience? So neuroscience is a subgroup of biology. However, it's evolved and has multiple associations with different fields, and plays a role in basically our everyday life. Neuroscience is everywhere and can be applied in multiple disciplines. Neuroscience is the study of how the nervous system develops, its structure, and what it does exactly. Like I was telling you before, it's continuously developing, and there's still a lot of research that needs to continue to happen, to continue learning about neuroscience, because it's such a broad yet complicated, difficult thing to fully learn. We still need to have like new inventions and technology, and kind of test out different theories, because so much can go into neuroscience. But if you talk about neuroscience in the scope of industrial organizational psychology and leadership, you'll hear the term neuro leadership. And what that is that it focuses on applying neuroscience to leadership development, management, training, change management, education, consulting, and coaching. Um, and this is important because it helps us, and when I say us, like people within an organization, really understand the employees, and understand people's behaviors and personalities, and why people do what they do in the workplace. I can speak for myself. So I am a family therapist in New York City. I currently reside in Staten Island. And I've been a family therapist and social worker for 6 years, working with ACS, which is the Administration for Children's Services, which is a CPS service, which is Child Protective Services, within New York City. And me as a supervisor, neuro leadership and neuroscience helps me really interact and understand my employees, especially employees that work in such a tough field, and experience burnout within the fields. So like I was saying, like neuro leadership was a term coined to understand the work and organizations in this context of neuroscience. And what's interesting is, so research shows that there's an emotional reaction, or emotional triggers occurs when a boss provides feedback to an employee, whether good or bad. So like if I'm the supervisor and I'm giving my employee feedback, I have to be mindful in regards of like how that person's going to receive my feedback and how I say it, right? Because interpretation is really important. So what's interesting is that like if they have a negative reaction to what I say, or no response at all, so the brain translates it and interprets it, and kind of puts it in a way where they can feel almost physical pain. Like their brain kind of has the same reaction as if it were to have physical pain. And then knowing this now kind of made me aware of how I could be more constructive in my feedback, and not demeaning, and continue to be strength-based with my employees. Because it's hard, working in such a tough field, within, especially in New York City. It's really tough out here. People have attitudes, and, all these stereotypes about New York, or even New Jersey. So it's really important the way I provide feedback in such a tough field, especially when it comes to like people's lives. We work with, the safety and well-being of children, and there's times like we may need to remove children from home. We may need to make certain decisions, or we may advocate for something for the judge. So it's important that feedback is like implemented, and then neuroscience plays a role in like how our brain takes to that feedback. That's why, like, coaching is really important versus, something negative or demeaning or humiliating, right? Because someone can, like, shut down, like literally shut down, and like your brain will kind of send signals to all over your body, and that's why you can see it like manifest in different ways, maybe some somatic symptoms, or maybe just self-esteem, or different things, so yeah, so it's important because that can, like, when you apply that to the workplace, that helps employees stay motivated, that prevents turnover, it keeps staff retention, and neuroscience can be applied in a broader aspect if you really understand the brain. um you know I was saying before that it responds to feedback, whether positive or negative. If it was positive, that means that the person can translate that as, I feel like this is a safe space. I feel like I trust my supervisor, or I trust another employee or another person within the agency. I feel like things are fair, um, and it just helps having a better, positive working relationship overall. Another thing that's interesting is that, so the brain also has mirror neurons, which means that, like, it's kind of say monkey do. So like if I were to be genuine and show an employee how to trust, and they can receive that, and feel like, I can trust this person, so I'm going to trust this person back. I'm not going to be on guard. I'm not going to be defensive. But if I were to present in a certain type of way that may be, I don't know, negative or something, they can perceive that as like distrust, or feel, on guard, or whatever, have like an extra protective layer on them. So I feel like, energy speaks volumes. Like, you need to mirror and model how to be, so someone can like present that back to you as well. And I think, like I said, like, if you were to apply that in like the terms of neuroscience and the brain, like if you understood the brain and the signals and the way people react to certain things, and you'll understand, how to present yourself within the organization, and how to like meet the mission and the goals of the organization. Neuroscience also helps with like innovation and creative thinking and art. And like I said before, like, neuroscience is continuing to develop. Your brain never, ever, ever rests. So like, the leader and, the supervisor, or whoever, the manager, whatever you want to call yourself, must appeal to the control network in the brain to keep them on task and keep people motivated and intrigued, within neuroscience. And, working in child welfare, that's something we need to continuously doing, like having like staff trainings, doing like different workshops and activities, continuing to challenge them, keep them intrigued, offer good feedback. So many things to continue working on, motivation within the agency, and to keep staff happy. So that's neuroscience and how it applies to work and what it means and leadership and the brain. So thank you very much for listening to this presentation. Have a good day.